Chapter 2. Concerning a singular favor which the Almighty conferred on Most Holy Mary as soon as she was established in the temple. When the heavenly child Mary had dismissed her parents and entered upon her life in the temple, her teacher assigned to her a place among the rest of the maidens, each of whom occupied a large alcove or little room. The Princess of Heaven prostrated herself on the pavement, and, remembering that it was holy ground and part of the temple, she kissed it. In humble adoration, she gave thanks to the Lord for this new benefit, and she thanked even the earth for supporting her and allowing her to stand in this holy place, for she held herself unworthy of treading and remaining upon it. Then she turned toward her holy angels and said to them, "Celestial princes, messengers of the Almighty, most faithful friends and companions, I beseech you with all the powers of my soul to remain with me in this holy temple of my Lord, and as my vigilant sentinels, reminding me of all that I should do, instructing me and directing me as the teachers and guides of my actions, so that I may fulfill in all things the perfect will of the Most High, give pleasure to the holy priests, and obey my teachers and my companions." And addressing in particular those whom I mentioned above as the 12 angels of the Apocalypse, she said, "And I beseech you, my ambassadors, if the Almighty permit you, go and console my holy parents in their affliction and solitude." While the 12 angels executed her command, Mary remained with the others in heavenly conversation. She began to feel a supernal influence of great power and sweetness, spiritualizing her and elevating her in burning ecstasy. And immediately the Most High commanded the seraphim to assist in illumining and preparing her most holy soul. Instantly she was filled with a divine light and force which perfected and proportioned her faculties in accordance with the mysteries now to be manifested to her. Thus prepared and accompanied by her holy angels and many others, in the midst of a refulgent host, the celestial child was raised, body and soul, to the empyrean heaven, where she was received by the Holy Trinity with befitting benevolence and pleasure. She prostrated herself in the presence of the most mighty and high Lord, as she was wont to do in all her visions, and adored him in profound reverence and humility. Then she was further transformed by new workings of divine light, so that she saw intuitively and face to face the divinity itself. This was the second time that it manifested itself to her in this intuitive manner during the first 3 years of her life. By no human tongue or any sensible faculty could the effects of this vision and participation of the divine essence ever be described. The person of the Father spoke to the future mother of his Son and said, "My dove, my beloved one, I desire thee to see the treasures of my immutable being and of my infinite perfections, and also to perceive the hidden gifts destined for the souls whom I have chosen as heirs of my glory, and who are rescued by the lifeblood of the Lamb. Behold, my daughter, how liberal I am toward my creatures, that know and love me, how true in my words, how faithful in my promises, how powerful and admirable in my works. Take notice, my spouse, how ineffably true it is that he who follows me does not walk in darkness. I desire that thou, as my chosen one, be an eyewitness of the treasures which I hold in reserve for raising up the humble, enriching the poor, exalting the downtrodden, and for rewarding all that the mortals shall do and suffer for my name. Other great mysteries were shown to the Holy Child in this vision of the divinity, for, as the object presented to the soul in such repeated intuitive visions is infinite, that which remains to be seen will always remain infinite and will excite greater and greater wonder and love in the one thus favored. The most holy Mary answered the Lord and said, Most high, supreme, and eternal God, incomprehensible thou art in thy magnificence, overflowing in thy riches, unspeakable in thy mysteries, most faithful in thy promises, true in thy words, most perfect in thy works. For thou art the Lord, infinite and eternal in thy essence and perfections. But most high Lord, what shall my littleness begin to do at the sight of thy magnificence? I acknowledge myself unworthy to look upon thy greatness, yet I am in great need of being regarded by it. In thy presence, Lord, all creation is as nothing. What shall I, thy servant, do, who am but dust? Fulfill in me all thy desire and thy pleasure, and if trouble and persecutions suffered by mortals in patience, if humility and meekness are so precious in thy eyes, do not consent, O my beloved, that I be deprived of such a rich treasure and pledge of thy love. But as for the rewards of these tribulations, give them to thy servants and friends, who deserve them better than I, for I have not yet labored in thy service and pleasure.